Hello. Hi, guys. So I'm trying to do Periscope and Facebook Live at the same time, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Hey, Kenyatta. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, so I'm hoping not to be before you guys long. I know that it's Saturday and uh, it's a day that you spend with your family, but I did want to just bring something that has been on my mind and my heart, and I really believe that it's on the heart of God as well. Hey, cousin, how are you? So I'm on Periscope and Facebook Live at the same time. So if you see me, looking back and forth, that's what it is. And so I do want you guys, first of all, welcome. I want you to be interactive. Talk to me, ask me questions. But I do want to just share something really quickly with you that I believe will help you. Before I share this, the devil is real, if you didn't know. And he's mad. The devil is very upset with me because I am exposing some of the things that he does to keep people bound in daddy issues. Daddy issues is such a big, big thing going on right now because we have so much fatherlessness in the world. It doesn't matter if you're in North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, Antarctica, Australia. It doesn't matter. If you have been rejected or have abandonment issues with regard to your father, you can be black or white. It doesn't matter. Daddy issues are the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter how we got there, but it does matter that we rid ourselves from the issues. Okay, and so I just want to make that clear to everyone. This is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. This is a God thing. So before I talk about what's on my mind, I do want you to just take a moment and share with your followers. I am still not quite sure how you do that on Facebook Live. On Periscope, you can swipe, I think it's left to right, or tap on the little guy in the lower corner. Please share this with your followers. So, also on Periscope, if I say something that you like, I think you can do it on Facebook Live also. If I say something you like, if I say something that, was an aha moment for you, if I say anything that is, positive, please go ahead and tap, for Periscope, go ahead and double tap the screen to give me hearts. And for Facebook Live, I don't know how you do that, but I'd appreciate the hearts on Facebook as well. Thank you. All right, so I want to talk a little bit. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about some of the head games that people with daddy issues suffer with. So I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm very, very sorry. It's a little bit crass. If you don't want to hear something crass, cover your ears, but don't turn off. Just wait until I'm done talking, especially for the guys here. You may not really appreciate it, but I know that any female watching will definitely understand and know what I'm talking about. So one day, I'm sorry guys, I was on my cycle. And women, if you don't know, having an accident when you're on your cycle is one of the biggest things that women, experience. And we all know, that feeling of thinking like, oh my God, like, am I spilling over? Am I having an accident? And so I was, on my cycle, and I just really, really, really felt like I was having an accident, and I was going to have something all over the back of my clothes because, that's what I felt. And so I'm like rushing to get home. And got home. There was absolutely nothing there. Nothing. So women, you can bear witness with me. You know, when you feel like you're, spilling over, you about to have an accident, and I got home and there was absolutely nothing there. There was nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. So there was nothing there. And at that moment, I just had an aha moment. It was a revelation to me that even though I felt it, I felt that I had soiled, I felt that I had spilt over. I felt all of that, but that was what I was feeling. And it was an aha moment that we can't trust our feelings. We cannot trust our feelings. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why we cannot trust our feelings, especially when it comes to dealing with issues of rejection and abandonment. So the first thing is that we as people, we're made up of three parts. We're spirit, soul, and body. Now, like I told you guys, this is a God thing. So, if you're not into, the Bible or anything, then definitely, you're welcome to leave this scope. But, so the Bible talks about, that we are spirit, soul, and body. And if you want to read more about that, you can go in the Bible to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23. And also Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. Okay. So, I'm not going to get into a big conversation about spirit, soul, and body, but I am going to talk a little bit about the soul. The soul is, we hear the saying that the soul is the seat of our emotions. Okay. And so, but basically the soul is made up of our emotions, our mind or our intellect, and also our will or our volition. So, what happens with the soul is that that is basically the devil's realm that he likes to mess with people in, the soul. Now, remember I said it's made up of our emotions, our mind or our intellect, and our will. Okay. And so, he likes to mess with people in their mind. He likes to play mind games. Okay. The first reason that I don't want you to trust your emotions when it comes to these daddy issues that we're suffering with is that the devil is a liar. Okay. The devil is a liar. And so in the Bible, in John chapter 8, verse 44, I'm going to read it. I'm trying to juggle two devices here. So let's see. Sorry, guys. Oops. Okay. I think I got it. All right, so I'm going to read for you John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, "Ye are of your father, the devil." This was Jesus talking to I believe, the Pharisees. It says, let's see, "Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." So that right there tells us, first of all, that the devil is a liar, and he's not only a liar, but he's the father of lies. And so when you think about, the things that he brings to your mind sometimes, he seeks to get us to believe a lie, his lie. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Periscope. I'm trying to juggle. Sorry. So he's a liar. And the second thing that I need you to know, the reason why I don't want you to trust your emotions, is that the devil attempts to corrupt our minds, our soul. Okay, so I want to read to you in the Bible, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. It says, "But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ." So, Satan attempts to corrupt our soul, our mind, our will, our intellect, and all those things. So we cannot trust our emotions. We can't trust our feelings sometimes, because they a lot of times have been corrupted by our enemy. So, everybody knows my thing is daddy issues, and you might be asking, so how does this relate to daddy issues? What does it have to do with that? And so I just need you to know that the devil, Satan, our enemy, likes to play head games. And if you think about the definition of head games, it's basically when someone tries to play with your mind and tries to get you to believe something that's actually not true. And so that is what our enemy likes to do. He likes to get us to believe something that is not true, and especially about us. When there's a loss, or when there's a rejection, or when there's an abandonment, and when I say loss, it could be, a father passing away, or we've been talking a few days about, some ways that you can tell you might have daddy issues if your dad was a workaholic or something like that. So when there's a loss, or when there's an abandonment, or when there's a rejection, our enemy uses that same event to plant a way of thinking into people. And so really, that's kind of what daddy issues are all about. It's a way of thinking that's been planted in our head. And it's a set of thought patterns that have been planted in our heads, in our minds, in our souls, that basically we see everything through. It's kind of like a pair of glasses that we see the world through. So this is how we see ourselves, okay? It's how we see others, and it's how we see the world. And we, have basically put on the daddy issues. Sorry, there's a train. We have basically put on the daddy issues, and we view the world, we view ourselves, and we view others through those daddy issues glasses. But basically, it's a lie. It's a lie that the enemy has tried to get you to believe. He's playing head games with you. And so when we start to identify the lies and the behaviors that we do that are associated with those lies, because that's another part of daddy issues. There are characteristic behaviors of every person who has daddy issues. And so it's basically those behaviors come from the lies that we have believed from our enemy. So once we start to identify those lies, and we identify the behaviors that we do that are associated with those lies, then we can start to be healed and start the process of healing and deliverance from those daddy issues. Okay. So, hey, Dion, thanks for joining. Once we start identifying the lies from our enemy, and the behaviors that we do that are associated with those lies, then we can start the healing process and also the deliverance process. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a quick example of one of a daddy issue. And I said I was going to talk about it the other day. I was going to come back on and talk about procrastination, and that if you are a procrastinator, chances are you're suffering from daddy issues. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm sorry, I did not get a chance to get back on because that same day I was involved in a car accident, and I'm okay. My children are okay. we're blessed. But you all, just keep me in your prayers, because the devil is busy, and he does not want this message to go forth. He does not want my book to go forth, because it exposes him for who he is. And he doesn't want us to be free. God wants his women to be free. He wants us to be free. He wants us to be whole. He wants us to be delivered. And so you all keep me in your prayers, because the devil is, busy. But thank you, Jesus, that that me and my children are okay. But I didn't get back on to talk about procrastination, because I was involved in an accident. And then, I've been, doing the runaround with the car situation. So, but I did want to include procrastination in this scope, or in this Facebook Live for you guys on Facebook, because I did say that I was going to come back and talk about it. So I'm just going to give you an example of identifying one of the lies and one of the behaviors associated with the lies. So the behavior is procrastination. Now, I said the other day that if you are a procrastinator, if you find it very hard to get stuff done, you keep putting things off until tomorrow, chances are, if you've had, rejection or abandonment issues, chances are you're dealing with some type of, procrastination is the daddy issue. Let me just say that. So procrastination is basically rooted in fear. Okay. Now, fear is another issue all in and of itself, and I'm not gonna talk about fear today, but fear is another daddy issue. But basically, procrastination is rooted in fear. So a lot of times when you've had abandonment or rejection, you begin to experience fear. It could be fear of people, fear of failure. Some people have a fear of success. And basically, it brings about, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. It's basically procrastination and fear is basically a behavior that's associated with the lie of who we are. It's an attack to our identity. A lot of times people with daddy issues do not know who they are. We have a false sense of identity because of the lies that we've been told. We've been told you are this, you are, this, you're a procrastinator, you're blah, 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 you're meek and quiet and shy or whatever. But it's not our identity. It's really a false identity that our enemy has set up and that we have believed. And so procrastination is a lie. Sometimes it's the lie is that you don't have what it takes. Who am I to do that? Sometimes the lie is that you're not good enough, and a lot of times we put things off because of those lies. We put them off because, who am I to write this book? Who am I to tell my life story? Who am I to, share my faith with someone? Who am I? And it basically is fear. And it is, procrastination is basically fear, and it is a daddy issue based on the lie that your enemy has told you about yourself. A lot of times people who procrastinate have a facade. They have people-pleasing behaviors, and it's basically a people-pleasing facade because they want people to perceive them as, perfect. That's why perfectionism is also an issue that is related to daddy issues. The facade is that I'm perfect. I don't, I don't do anything wrong. And so you become afraid of what people will think about what you're saying or what you're doing. You become afraid of what people might say or think. And it's all rooted in fear. It is a daddy issue. Procrastination is a daddy issue. Now, it can be a mama issue too, but my expertise is daddy issue. So that's what I'm talking about. I have a resource If you go to DevaDube.com, that's DevaDube.com. I want you to go to the website and I want you to download this resource. It will help you to identify some of the behaviors associated with the lies of that makes up daddy issues. So your homework, I'm a teacher at heart, guys. Your homework for today is to, first of all, share this broadcast with your followers and friends. Second of all, you're going to go back and watch the replay. I am going to keep the replay up. You're going to go back and watch the replay, get those scriptures, and let this just sink into you, because the enemy, sometimes we don't know until somebody identifies it in us. We don't know what's in us until someone identifies it in us. So let this sink into you. Let this word go over you, wash over you. And so that's number 2. So number 1, you're going to share the broadcast. Number 2, you're going to go back and watch the replay. And then number 3, I want you to go to the website, DevaDube.com. And I want you to download this resource that has some of the lies and the behaviors that are associated with daddy issues. If it's not for you, I mean, you may have a teenage daughter, or you may have a friend who suffered rejection or suffered abandonment, or even, had their father in the home, but still, have some type of issues with dads. So please do that. Download the, go to DevaDube.com, DevaDube.com, and download that resource. It's really going to help you see and identify some of the lies. That's what I do, folks. I help women identify, confront, and eliminate daddy issues. Okay. And so I want you to do that. So your homework is, first of all, to share the broadcast. Number 2, you're going to go back and watch the replay. And then number 3, you're going to go to the website and download the resource. It will help you. I know it will. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for sharing with your followers. Thank you for all the heart love. I appreciate it. On the replay, you can still give me hearts. On the replay, you can still make comments. So on Facebook Live, you can. Periscope, you can still give me hearts, and but you can't make comments. If you have comments for me, please do go ahead and contact. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Any questions while I'm here? Any questions you have for me while I'm here? Oh, okay. So Kenyatta says, very interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. Thank you for joining me. And any other questions, comments? All right, guys, I am out. Have a great Saturday. And please keep me in your prayers. Pray. No, let me tell you specifically what I want you to pray. Because you can be praying anything. Pray for me as far as my car situation. I'm praying for a new car. Okay. So agree with me in that. Okay. So Kenyatta says she has daddy issues. It's very likely. It's very likely. And so stick with me, Kenyatta. We're going to get you free. We're going to get you free. And so, folks, I'm not talking about anything that I think. I'm talking about what I know. I'm talking about what I know. That is why the enemy tries to fight this message, because he doesn't want people free. But it's on the heart of God. Kenyatta, you're on the heart of God, and he wants you to be free and whole. Okay? All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, folks, have a great Saturday.